Yes, sir.
You said, your last answer was that the department heads to reduce their budgets by 2%, 4%, a quarter of a percent, something like that. Congressman, how long is it gonna take until we're out of the woods if we get a 2% or a 4% or a 10% reduction in spending? How long is it gonna take until I don't have to worry about my kids or my grandkids being beholden to some foreign government that owns all our T-bills?
Yeah. It starts with day one. I don't know how long it takes. I can tell you from the experience in the state legislature. You know, I lived through Blanchard's administration. I went in with him in 1982 election. So from 83 to 90, I served with Blanchard. He came in with a Governor Milliken $1.8 billion budget deficit. Blanchard came in and said, this is what we need to do. We need to increase taxes, put a temporary income tax increase on, a number of other licensing and fees and all of this, expand government services, whatever else. When he was defeated by Engler in 1990, we had a $1.8 billion budget deficit. When Engler came in, with the help of Walberg, with the help of Bill Martin, who represented this area at the time, Mike Nye over in Hillsdale County, and some others, we began cutting government. Right-sizing was a term, government. We cut taxes 26 times in the mid-90s, including Proposal A, with a 50% reduction in property taxes, and stabilized school funding. All of that during that time. Spending cuts, taxation cuts, reducing the size of government, consolidating services. When I left office, term limited in January 1, 1999, I left with over $1 billion rainy day fund and a surplus. And people, and I represented Lenawee County at the time, the 40th district. It's a border county. We were losing businesses in Ohio and Indiana. We had businesses coming back to the state at that time. And that was a mere 5 years turnaround time. Now it's going to take longer with the federal government, with the trillions of dollars of deficit spending that's been going on, with this administration alone. But it's got to start. And I'm only one out of 435 in Congress, if you give me that privilege. But I can tell you I'm one of probably at least 130 right now that are true conservatives, like Michelle Bachmann, Jeb Hensling, Mike Pence, Peter Roskam, Paul Ryan. I could go on and on, Joe Pitts, Joe Wilson, and others who are standing tough and are willing to vote and sponsor that same type of legislation. It's not going to happen overnight, but remember, the people put this government into place that allowed this to happen for how many years? And I can speak very bluntly here because I don't need this job. I want it. I want it for my grandkids. But I can tell you, I didn't get there without a vote of people. And I didn't get voted out without a vote of people for the other guy. And so we're partners in this. And we got to be willing to tough it out. I had a guy go home from a meeting like this in Coldwater a few weeks back. The question came up and said, very much like this. You know, what's it going to take? I said, it's going to take some pain. You're going to have to say no to yourself sometimes. Might be your ox that's going to get gored, but you got to accept it. Might be my ox that's got to get gored. I got to accept it. But when we get through that, we're going to have sound, solid footing again. He went home, he told a friend of his on the way home, he says, well, I like Walberg, but I don't know how he gets elected telling people he's going to have to go through pain. He got home, he turned on Fox, and there was Michelle Bachmann and another congressperson talking about the fact it's going to take us some pain to get to the right side again. We got to be willing to deny ourselves. He called me up and says, Walberg, I guess you understood it better than I did. I think those people who get elected, and probably you will as well. And I think that's where we're going to have to be. My dad went through the Depression. My mother went through the Depression as adults. They lost their jobs. Mom had to come from the farm to the city in order to take an office job to send the money back to the farm. Her dad lost the farm. My father lost his farm with Bell Telephone, lost his job at Bell Telephone Company. He went to the farm, started up a chicken farm, and shipped eggs and milk back to his brother in Chicago to peddle them on the streets. That's how they made it through. Then Dad came back to the city after the Depression ended, went to Allied Trade School, became a machinist, tool and die maker, and that's what he did until he was 73 years of age. That was tough. All of his dreams to go into Northwestern University with a partial scholarship and become a CPA, out the window. But Americans do things in order to achieve, even if it means sacrificing and putting up with, we lost this one, but we're going to get up and go again. The beauty of America is that we, at least in the past, we were allowed to succeed and we were allowed to fail. But then we were allowed to get up and go on again if we were willing. So I'm telling you, I think as America, we can succeed. We can turn back the health care takeover. We can stop cap and trade, the largest tax increase in the history of the United States if it ultimately gets through. And I'll do everything to stop that. We can stop it, but we have to stop it. That's where the American people, the Tea Party, 9/12, patriots, have to stand solid and deny ourselves in certain cases in order to have greater benefit for our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids down the road. Because you're right. We're already spending. I look at my two little grandkids that are still on the ground here. One in heaven, but two on the ground. And I look at them, I think, their income's being spent already before they even got in the marketplace. And that's wrong.